Has a real problem with weapons, and I'm just trying to get my my arms around the whole weapons manufacturing cannot be Christian. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing. Especially since the Pope is guarded by men who carry weapons. I wonder if he has seen the hypocrisy in that. Do you suppose? Or is the Pope okay with having people carrying evil things around?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, he has made some changes, right? He moved out of the sweet papal apartment, didn't he? At the back of the day.
Don't know.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Into what?
I don't know. A shanty. I don't know what he did. But I remember he was making a lot of statements about that because he didn't want to have the trappings of wealth. Maybe this is something he's going to change. Maybe he won't be protected by weapons.
Now he lives in a tiny one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, where he places classified ads.
$80,000 month after month after month, placing tiny classified ads.
All right.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, it's...
what would the Pope be protected by? Because he couldn't be protected by swords either.
He has a glass. He has the glass of the Pope-mobile.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, he can't use that.
He lives in the guest house.
Well, he can't use that.
Well, it just has to be pushed. He can't use it with a motor.
It could be an electric Pope-mobile, right?
No, because electric is powered by coal, usually, or evil nuclear energy over in Europe.
But he could buy... So you're saying maybe he puts solar panels on top of that thing?
There you go.
He pops some solar panels.
Yeah, so the Pope, it takes a little while for him to get through your town because it's like... very, very slow.
And then at night, it's really slow.
Very slow. He has to be there by nighttime.
And this sounds, because obviously this is the way we mock people who like, all the climate change laws and yet don't live up to them. But
yes,
you would certainly make arguments that a businessman who's running a business and wants to cut his emissions, it might, you can understand maybe he's going to take a flight here and there. And even though we might criticize them, there's some level of hypocrisy there. It's different than the Pope. The Pope is making moral judgments. The Pope is saying he can't kind of engage in something he thinks is destroying the earth.
No, if he says that weapons and anybody who makes weapons, guns, cannot call themselves a Christian, how can he have people around him protect him with guns that are not Christian things?
Right.
It's not like, it's again, you're exactly right. This is a moral thing.
He's not trying to make the world of business slightly better or slightly more friendly. He's saying it's immoral to engage in things that propagate climate change and weapons. You got to eliminate them completely from your life in every aspect. Then
it's been interesting with this Pope because we've been confused by his statements in the past, and we've talked to people who actually know him, and because he's made seemingly anti-capitalist statements, and they said he doesn't lean socialist, but he comes from a socialist country.
Yeah, here's what they've said. The only thing that he has ever seen is
South American socialism
and South American capitalism.
Yeah, which really isn't capitalism.
Correct.
At all.
Cronyism. It's ugly.
So that's why he has a thing against capitalism.
Right. And a thing against socialism. He's not for either of them.
Right.
He doesn't think either of them work. So he's never seen really good capitalists. Now, this is what his friends have told us, that he's just never seen really good capitalists before. So how does he judge it?
But it's hard when he makes statements like, all weapons manufacturers are not Christian, and climate change is, fact. And it's immoral to say it's not. And then they ban a guy who is a skeptic from this conference. What are you supposed to think?
He's got an advanced degree in chemistry, Pat. He's got. That's what you don't understand. The guy's a scientist. He's got an advanced degree, a master's, by the way, a master's
degree.
Yes, he has
science?
a master's degree from the University of Buenos Aires.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. I see it. I've been seeing it all over the internet. And he does. He has that.
Okay, go to Snopes.
Yeah. Snopes has something on it, which they say the claim is mostly false. And they end it with this. What the current pontiff received was the equivalent of a technical school or community college certificate in that field of study. So, yes, he did at some point take a class on chemistry, but he's not an advanced chemist by any means. And there's something wrong. He doesn't have a
master's, though, in
chemistry.
chemistry.
He does not have a master's. He has a community college certificate.
Is he a doctor of chemistry?
No, he does not have that either.
Okay.
That doesn't mean he can't comment on it. And, in fact, he's
we can all comment on it. We can all comment on it, but let's not say that he's a scientist.
Yeah, let's not say that. And let's also remember that, again,
he's a scientist like Bill Nye the Science Guy is a scientist.
Well,
not.
I don't know. Actually,
he's probably more of a scientist than Bill Nye, actually.
Probably is more than Bill Nye, because he at least has a community college certificate, which Bill Nye does not have. But again, that doesn't mean you can't talk about it. You could certainly make policy recommendations based on your understanding of the science, but to sit here and make moral judgments, that's a different story. You can't I want to cut abortion by 10%, therefore I'm going to perform less of them, but I'm pro-life. No, you're out of it. If you're this is the Pope we're talking about. If you make a moral judgment that something is evil, you're not participating in it at all. Period. You're the Pope. Mm-hmm. That's it. There's no qualification. Well, I need to get to this conference. That's not what happens.
Well, no. I was going to say, you could take a seat on a commercial airline.
No, I think what you do.
I don't think so.
The Pope can't hop on Southwest.
Wait. Why not?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. I don't know that I would. I don't know.
And it doesn't cure. I mean, you're supporting a company that has incredible amount of emissions that go into this situation if you believe it's evil. I mean, it's like it's like.
Well, has he said this is evil?
He hasn't said bar at an abortion clinic.
He hasn't said that airlines are not Christian, right? He just said guns are not Christian.
He said the idea of climate change. He didn't say they were not Christian, but he said it was a. I can't remember the exact quote. It was a moral
imperative.
It's a moral imperative to make sure that nations take action to stop it. I mean, if that's going to be the case, don't you have to be the leader in that? I would assume he has. I would assume, based on these statements, that he's not doing either of these things anymore. I have no evidence. You say that he's being protected by guns. I got to assume that's not true. I have to assume you're wrong on that. Because this is the Pope we're talking about. He said everyone who has one is not a Christian.
I would highly doubt.
I don't know. I think he must be wrong.
The world's largest museum is not protected by any kind of gun.
I think you probably have outdated information on that. He's probably changed that by now. It must be. Clearly, you can't make a statement like that unless you've changed it, or at least are on the way heavily to change it. Maybe they need to install Simply Safe everywhere across the entire museum complex before they take the guns out. So maybe that's in process, and I can give them a couple weeks, but I assume that's in process. You certainly don't make a statement like that until it is.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're doing there, Stu.
What I'm doing...
What you're doing is...
what? What am I doing? I'm not doing anything.
You're giving him the benefit of the doubt, knowing full well that there's no way the Pope is not going to have somebody without a gun.
And by the way, I, as a clear non-Christian who supports the right of people to bear arms, want him to be protected.
So do I.
By people with guns.
Yeah,
because I find his life to be incredibly valuable.
Yes.
And it's interesting how the people who are against weapons typically have no second thought about whether they are benefiting from them. I would hope that he's considered this.
I have to tell you, in Charleston, the guy reloaded 5 times. Mm-hmm. 5 times. One person with a gun there could have stopped the madness. The first time he ejected that magazine, the first time, boom, take him out.
And maybe even before that. Maybe before he reloaded, somebody could have done that.
If you were,
You know?
Yeah, if you were in the right location.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how the Pope says people who manufacture weapons or invest in weapons industries are hypocrites if they call themselves Christian.
It's like remember the Luby's cafeteria incident in, is it Lubbock?
Yes.
Texas. Remember that? It was several years ago now. And there's a woman who has said all along that she was a gun owner. She had a concealed weapons permit, but they didn't allow weapons at Luby's. So she had to leave it outside in her car. So when the gunman came in and started shooting people, and by the way, eventually killed 26 people, she had overturned one of the tables and was hiding behind it. She had a clear shot at the guy. She was highly trained. She was good in target practice. She said after the first shot, she could have taken him out. She could have saved 25 lives, including her mother.
43.
43 people
Jeez.
shot or killed.
43 people.
Shot 43
Yeah,
people.
shot 43 people, and I think 24 or 26 died. It was a awful massacre. And if she just would have had her gun that was in her purse in the car with her, she could have stopped the guy after the first shot.
Well, I mean, no other country on earth has ever dealt with an incident like this, Pat.
That
doesn't happen.
So it doesn't happen anywhere but here.
Yes, as we found out last week, it does.
It actually does, and we're only 6th in killings per capita.
The list was only 10 major countries, too. So
Yeah.
we're,
Fourth
half.
from the bottom.
Yeah.